All right, so we're going to look at Unit 5, Lesson 8 for 8th grade. And the question is, Diego said that these graphs are ordered from smallest to largest. May says that they're ordered from largest to smallest, but these graphs are not numbers. What do you think Diego and May are thinking? Looking at these, both of these people are correct if they're talking about a specific thing. Diego is correct. He says smallest to largest. The slope of this line is a negative slope. The slope of this line is 0. There is a positive slope for this particular one. So if we went from a negative slope to a 0 slope to a positive slope, Diego is correct if he is talking about slope. However, May could also be correct because she's not talking about slope. From largest to smallest, May would be correct if she's talking about the y-intercept. So from here to here, this y-intercept is bigger than this one. And this one's a negative y-intercept, which is less than this one. So if May's correct, if she's talking about the y-intercept. For the next question, Jada earns $7 per hour mowing her neighbor's lawns. Name 2 quantities in this situation that are a functional relationship. So the money earned is a function of the hours Jada works, or that she mows. All right, as an independent variable, which that's your input or your x, okay? That would be the hours. Your dependent or your output or your y would be the money earned. So if I could go ahead and put that on my axis here, my y-axis. An equation that would represent that function would be y is equal to 7 times x. We've labeled the axes 2 points that would be on this line. If she works 1 hour, she's earned $7. If she works 7 hours, she's earned $49. And if you are thinking that this is a proportional relationship or a direct variation, you would be correct. The amount of money that she earns varies directly according to how many hours that she works. All right. So then on the back of that, we're converting feet to yards. You would multiply the number of feet by 1/3. So we're going to do the same thing that we've done with this one as we just did on the front. So the 2 quantities that are in the functional relationship, the number of yards, I'll put number of yards, is a function of the number of feet. The independent variable, or the input, would be the feet, and the dependent would be the yards. Y equals 1/3 x would be the equation. So then I would put yards here, feet here, and I'm going to draw a line that is not very steep because my slope is 1/3. So if I have 3 feet, I have 1 yard. If I have 6 feet, I have 2 yards. If I have 9 feet, I have 3 yards. If I have 12 feet, I have 4 yards. Is it filling up or draining out? This is a very popular style of question for functions. So we have 4 tanks of water. There is the amount of water in gallons A in tank A is given by the function rule. A equals 200 plus 8t. Something else that's important is that it says t is representing minutes. The amount of water in gallons B in tank B starts at 400 gallons and is decreasing at 5 gallons per minute. These functions work when t is greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0, and when t is less than or equal to 80. So this right here means that when time in minutes is either equal to 0 or 80 or any number in between. It can be 0, it could be 80, or any other number in between. Which tank started out with more water? Well, tank A started off with 200. It's asking about the y-intercept. A started with 200. B started, in orange, it says with 400. Which one's more? That'd be this one. Write an equation to represent the relationship between tank B and the time, t. So in orange it says you start at 400. That's your y-intercept. It says it's decreasing at 5 gallons per minute. There's that key word that indicates that 5 is its rate and it's decreasing, so that's decreasing 5 per minute. So I'm going to multiply this by t. That's an expression. To make this into an equation, we can say tank B is equal to 400 minus 5t. Which one is filling up? Which one is draining? So tank A, is it filling up or is it draining? If it's adding 8 every minute, it's filling up. It's filling because it's adding 8 gallons every minute. What about tank B? Look at tank B. We can look at the equation, or we can say right here it says it's decreasing. So that one is obviously the one that's draining because it's subtracting or losing 5 gallons for every minute. On the next page, we're going to continue with this question. We've talked about 2 tanks. Now we're going to talk about the other 2 tanks, tanks C and D. The amount of water in gallons C in tank C given by the function rule C equals 800 minus 7t. Is it filling up or draining out? Can you tell from just looking at the equation? Yes, absolutely you can tell from the equation because it says right here it is losing 7 gallons every minute. So it is draining. Looking at the graph for tank D, Is it filling up or draining? Well, look at this slope. What does that slope tell you? It's negative slope, which means it's losing water, right? How do you know? Because the slope is negative. Turn the page. And we're going to talk about Noah's bank account and Elena's bank account. Noah's depositing money in his account every week to save money. The graph shows the amount he has saved as a function of time since he opened his account. So here's Noah. Elena opened an account the same day as Noah. The amount of money E in her account is given by the function rule. E equals 8W plus 60, where W is the number of weeks since the account was opened. Who started off with more money in their account? It's asking for the y-intercept. Noah's y-intercept is 60. Elena's y-intercept is also 60. Neither one started with more. They started with the same amount. Who's saving money at a faster rate? Explain how you know. Elena is saving, this is asking for the slope. Elena is saving at $8 a week. I know that because that's the rate right there. 8 times W, 8 times the number of weeks. Now we got to figure out Noah. So looking at Noah, and if I draw this, the little slope triangles, the vertical change from here to here, the number that goes here, would be 70. So that changes $10. And then from here to here, horizontally, that changes 2. So Noah is saving $10 for every 2 weeks. I can't compare $10 for 2 weeks versus Elena saving $8 in 1 week. I need to have the same amount of weeks. So students have done this differently. Some students have said, all right, I'll make Elena into 2 weeks. So if she's saving $8 for every week, she's going to save how much for every 2 weeks? Multiply everything by 2, you're going to get 16 is how much she's saving in 2 weeks. I've had other students who've taken Noah and simplified that into 1 week. If he's saving $10 in 2 weeks, then every week he's going to be saving $5. Now the person saving the most at a faster rate, that'd be Elena. You compare $8 for 1 week versus Noah's $5 for 1 week, Elena is saving more. If you compare for 2 weeks, $16 for 2 weeks versus $10 for 2 weeks, Elena is still saving more every week or even for every 2 weeks. How much is Noah going to save over the course of a year? All right, first you need to know there's 52 weeks in a year. I haven't encountered many students who know that. Then you need to take his equation. His equation is he will have this much saved. He saves $5 every week. He already had $60. We're going to this time take 5 and multiply it by 52 weeks plus the 60 he already had. When you put that into your calculator, he's going to have $322 after a year, 52 weeks. Now the next question is not how much does Elena have after a year. It's asking how long will it take her to save $320, to save that much amount of money. Now if she's saving faster, she's saving $8 per week instead of $5 per week and they started with the same amount, she's going to get there faster. She's saving $3 more every week than he is. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Elena's equation from up top that I've highlighted. Elena is equal to 8W plus 60. And this time, it's 320 is not how much weeks, it's how much she has in her account. So this is a two-step equation that we can solve. Now it's a one-step equation. And when you do, you get 32.5 is the amount of weeks it will take her to save the same amount of money, $320. If the question were to ask you how much weeks, I would round this up to 33, because if you go with 32, she hasn't reached $320 yet. That's all we have for today. Thanks.